Why do I do what I do? Because I love it and because it's important. Because we're in the middle of a global ecological crisis in which species, populations and diversity are collapsing all around the world. And Ireland is no exception. In fact, Ireland is one of the most ecologically dysfunctional places on the planet. So if I can, in my own little way, make an exception to that and provide an example of how things could be so different on a much greater scale in this country and further afield, then I can think of no better way of spending my time on Earth. One of the biomes that would naturally exist in western parts of Ireland like this is temperate rainforest. That ecosystem has nearly been completely erased, and trying to bring back a small piece to health is, I think, one of the best contributions that I can make. The fact that the land was hardly used from about 1909 onwards meant that the land was able to go back to wild nature. However, it was completely and utterly wrecked. The whole place was severely overgrazed. The forest wasn't able to regenerate, so there was none of that really rich floral diversity that you should have in a native forest. I applied for the native woodland scheme. All I applied to be done under the scheme was the erection of a 2-meter high fence around most of the forest. That's the scat of pine marten, by the way, which is a species that only recently took up residence in the forest. They're Ireland's rarest mammal. Over the following few years, you started to see this absolute explosion of life and diversity within the forest. So this is an example of an oak seedling, probably a year or two old. And if that doesn't get eaten by a deer or a sheep or some other herbivore, it ultimately has the potential to grow into something like that. A pillar of a woodland ecosystem. And really an older oak like that, covered in ivy and mosses and all sorts of other plants, it's really an ecosystem in its own right. The only thing that's required really to allow an ecosystem like this to flourish is to remove the human impacts and then just stand back and let nature get on with it.